I'm guessing that if you've clicked onto this video, that you're probably not in the best headspace at the moment. That's okay, because I'm not either. If you've clicked onto this video, you might have been dumped recently, or cheated on, or, just you're going through it. And me too. So we have something in common, you and me. But it's okay, because I'd like to impart some wisdom onto you that might make you feel better. I think the first thing that I'd like to say is, even if this didn't leave you with a whole lot of closure, I think at the end of the day, the amount that you have is the closure that you need. They didn't explain their actions to you. You know what they did anyway. And based on that, it can be any number of things, really. It could be that they're too cowardly to face you, or that they just, don't care enough to give you that peace of mind. And this is a last resort way of hurting you. And at the end of the day, that's not something positive that you need in your life. Somebody who's trying to hurt you one last time, or somebody who just doesn't care enough at all to give you the peace of mind that you deserve, but they won't give you. You might not get closure about the situation, but you can get closure about their character. And I think sometimes that's worth more. That's the situation that I'm in at the moment, and I am trying to remind myself of that no closure is the closure you need, because a self-respecting person would face you directly, but a coward will just hide, full on avoid you, block you everywhere, all of that. And somebody who's too afraid to stand by their actions is not a positive person to keep in your circle. So it's okay. You'll be fine without them. I promise. Another thing you might just be feeling is, unlovable, undesirable, not good enough. But I want you to know that you are all of those things. You are lovable, you are desirable, you are a good person, you are a person worth knowing, a person worth getting to know. And somebody who is treating you otherwise is, again, not somebody that you want around you. And I think sometimes that people might mistake the memory of memories, really. They might mistake that as missing the person, when, you're just missing the time, just, what it was in the moment, when it was happy, when it was good. But that's not necessarily the most accurate representation of everything. it doesn't account for all the times that you might not have felt the best in the relationship, or times where it wasn't as smooth or as easy. But those moments are just as telling of the character of that person and of the overall tone of the relationship as the good memories. And it's not wrong to, miss the good times, but don't let that cloud your judgment and your decisions in the present. If you're like me and you're bad at recognizing your emotions and identifying them, identifying what you're feeling, that's all right. There is a processing time, and sometimes all you really know is that you feel lousy. You feel like garbage. And that's where I'm at right now, where I don't know what I'm feeling or what I'm thinking about the whole situation. I just know that it's making me feel not good. But that's okay. It's not a race to feel better. And I think that might be a bit of a superpower, to not be able to exactly identify what a feeling is. Just that you know that it feels bad, because it helps you get through pain pretty easily. Over time, it doesn't form a concrete memory for you. Or at least it doesn't for me. So, if you're similar in that way, then, don't take that to mean that it's going to be a terrible road for you, because it doesn't necessarily have to be the case. And I think something to get over the lousiest feeling is really just to simplify it, What is something that makes you just feel happy? It doesn't have to be anything special. For me, that would be drinking a Monster energy drink, or screaming to music in the car. It doesn't have to be anything insane. Although one thing I will recommend is I would recommend you hold off of exercising until you feel a little bit more in control of your emotions. Because the last time I did that, I pulled my bicep. So, maybe if you're a little too worked up, sometimes exercising them out isn't the best, because you might injure yourself. And you won't even realize it, because, in the moment, you're not even thinking about physical pain or correct, what is that called? Not posture, but, movements. Sometimes that slips your mind if you're thinking about, trying to burn out some sad or angry feelings. But so if exercising is one of those things that makes you feel better, I would recommend you don't try to push yourself too hard or any harder than usual, because you might injure yourself completely by accident. But that's like right in the, beginning. So once you have it a little under control, then you can resume, pushing yourself, pushing the limits. That might make you feel better, but, proceed with caution. I can't, have you guys hurting yourselves, because that would just make me feel somehow actually worse than getting cheated on and dumped, which it doesn't feel great. I can tell you that. Can't exactly identify what I'm feeling, to be quite honest. But I know that I'm struggling with, a desire for closure, a little bit of confrontation, instead of just being unceremoniously just, silenced and blocked and all that. But it is what it is, Hannah Montana said it best. Everybody has those days. Everybody knows what I'm talking about. Everybody gets that way. But really, sometimes you just have to have a bad time. And this is one of those bad times. But you know what? We're all together. We're a community. And that is very helpful. Another piece of advice that I can give you is don't date any of your ex's friends. Don't even try. Because I promise it's not going to end the way you think it will. You're not going to make anybody jealous. You're going to become an inside joke. So don't do that. You're not going to deeply hurt them because they do not deeply care about you, quite frankly. If, they dumped you or cheated on you or whatever the deal, if they mistreated you in any way, they don't care about you like that. And so dating their friend is not going to make them suddenly care. If anything, it's going to be like an ego boost, because to them it will probably come across as you're trying to keep yourself in their circle, so you're still trying to pick up pieces of them. And that's not what you want, because as we have previously covered, your ex is not a person you want to keep in your life. For whatever reason. They're cowardly. They're too cowardly to, really explain themselves. Or, they are rude. They straight up don't care. They're selfish. Those are not traits that you want in, people that you interact with. So, just set yourself free of that. Don't surround yourself with those people. And if you happen to, share friends and you're in like a, like a social circle together, I hate to say it, but don't divulge to your people that you are mutual friends with your ex. I'm not saying that you shouldn't trust anybody, but I am saying that it would probably not be in your best interest to at least open the door for another betrayal. So I'd recommend against that. Don't do that. But if you have anybody who you're close with that isn't, a mutual friend of your ex's, or is for sure closer with you than your ex, then that is somebody that you can trust. And if you've been cheated on, don't internalize that. Even if, you see your ex bring around their affair partner around, don't let that get in your head, because, some of the most amazing people have been cheated on. For example, Shakira, Beyonce, me, maybe you, and those are all great people. So it's not, it's not indicative of your character that it's happened. It's not indicative of your character if it's happened 100 times, because, it's not your job to remind somebody to keep it in the relationship. It's not your job to remind somebody of that. If they can't refrain themselves, or they won't or can't, then, again, that's not a quality partner, no matter what other good traits they might have had. Those are things that should, kind of just rule them out of the running for people who should get to see you in a vulnerable state, hear your innermost thoughts, spend time with you, share memories with you. Those are reasons why you shouldn't keep them in your life. And if you can't help it, I'd recommend not keeping tabs on them, because the less you know, the better. And I'd also advise that you make yourself as unreachable as possible. This is a time for privacy, in a sense, especially if they've done something really terrible, like violate your safety, or physically harm you, torment you, anything that is an act of physical or emotional violence. Make yourself as unreachable, unviewable as possible, because if you're not doing well, it's a victory lap for your ex. And if you are doing well, then that is an invitation for them to try to come and mess that up for you, because misery loves company. And I suspect that your ex is probably a pretty miserable person. So as best as you can, get yourself away from them as much as possible, online, in person, to whatever degrees, reasonable for you. If you work together, I'm not telling you to quit your job. If you're taking the same classes, I'm not telling you should drop out of your classes, none of that. Maybe don't hang out with your mutual friends so much. Remove them from social media, block their number, stuff like that. Don't spend time looking at their pictures or anything, because the block button works in two ways. It's so they don't have access to you, and it's so that you don't have access to them. And that might be helpful for you for now, or even for, I guess, ever, for the rest of your life. That might just be what brings the healing process around easier, is to just be fully detached And I think the next piece of advice may or may not apply to everybody, depending on, your social media habits or your career or, stuff like that, or your other life circumstances, really. But I find that having no social media presence that is, personal to me, at least, is pretty helpful in these kinds of situations, because it's an automatic cutoff of access for people to me. And I find that kind of, nice, at least, that I know that there's not people prying in to see all of the details of what might have happened, looky-loos, mutual friends of a friend. They don't want to see what's going on. Well, they don't get to, and if they want to do that, they have to come talk to me. But I think that having a very limited or non-existent social media presence might help, because in a whirlwind state, you're not going to be so likely to post something that is maybe regrettable or, might be ill-advised. I don't know. And if you're planning on doing a glow up, it keeps you in private. No room for negativity there, really. If you're not planning to do a glow up, which I don't think that a breakup should make you decide to do a glow up, because I think the thought behind that is that you aren't perfect or lovable the way that you are at the moment. But I think that's a thought process that you should not practice. It's something that you should avoid, because that will make you feel worse. It won't feel so much as it's a drive for self-improvement as it is a feeling of self-hatred for your current self. So I think if possible, you should maybe not aim to do a glow up. If there are specific things that you would like to fix, think about if you would tell me to do them right now, because I just got cheated on and dumped. And would you, tell me that I need to, go to the gym more, or that I need to, fix whatever? Would you tell me that anything about me right now is a huge problem that would make me unworthy? Unless you really don't like me, in which case that's valid, but unless you really don't like me, then you probably wouldn't say those things to me. So, being kind to yourself is very important, because you've been dealt a very unkind person, really. This isn't to say that they're a bad person, your ex, but they were not a nice person to you. So, in your life story, they are not going to be painted as a very positive figure, probably. But and this might be a bit of an overdone piece of advice, but I think that in a time like this, journaling really would help. Whether that be written, typed, spoken out loud, like me in this video, talking to the wall, talking to your pet, talking to a stuffed animal. Just, it might help. Whether or not there's ever any intent of somebody hearing what you have to say, or if you plan to keep it private. I think that just having a stream of consciousness kind of helps a little bit. It gives you some uninterrupted me time to think about it, think about everything, come to terms with everything, give yourself closure, as we have, again, previously discussed. So, which I think brings me to say I'm so grateful for this channel and for everybody watching, because I appreciate that I have a community of people to just send this all out to, and I want to come at you with, all of the love that I have, because you guys really deserve it, and I want you guys to feel as loved as I really do love you guys, because I love helping you guys, but in a way this is helping me too. So I'm really appreciative of all of that, of all of your kind words, your comments, you guys just, showing up. I'm appreciative of all of that. And with that, I'm gonna let you go out into the world. Don't exercise too hard if you're gonna exercise. Don't do any social media stalking. Don't even plan on, buying kale that you're gonna eat all week and nothing else. Don't do that. Do things that are kind for yourself. Spend time talking to yourself. Get your thoughts in order about everything. And then carry on with the things that you're good at, the things that you do, your responsibilities, carry on with those. Because at the end of the day, those are the things that make you you, and not the way that people treat you. That's not who you are. I love you guys so much, and I'll probably get back to you guys with our regularly scheduled programming next video. Keep your video requests rolling in. This was not a video anybody requested. This is a video that I requested for myself, and I think some of you guys might find it helpful as well. Anyways, have a good day, good night, good evening, good afternoon, whatever time of day it is. I hope that it's great for you, and I hope you feel better.